Lisa from Life and Layouts, and today I have your monthly celebration for 2019 for the month of July. Make sure that you check out all of the lovely ladies down below because there are lots of talent in this YouTube pop. This is a sketch I'm going to be using. It's a free sketch from Scrapbook Generations using 3 photos, and then I'm going to use the Pinstripes and Petticoat paper pack from Echo Park. And I had this 2 pieces of navy card paper that I had gotten from a friend who was giving away some paper supplies, and it fit right along with this, so I figured I would use that on this layout as well because it's so hard to find good navy paper, and I was so surprised that she was getting rid of it. So I pulled out the paper that I thought that I was going to use, and with this sketch, what you'll notice is that there is cardstock all along the back there of the sketch behind all of the photos, and I was trying to decide if I wanted to use 1 or 2 pieces of paper across the back piece or if I wanted to use different pieces. And I really liked this mustache paper. I thought it went really well with my photos, so I was like, I'm just going to use that across the entire background. So what you'll see is it covers the full side of the right hand side of the layout, and then it's a little bit on either side of that bigger red piece on the left hand side, and I really like the way that that came out. The sketch called for rounded corners in that navy paper, and I was kind of iffy about doing that in the beginning, but after I saw that, I was like, that is gorgeous. I need to do that. So I showed you guys this, and I slowed it down a little bit. I got some questions in regards to this particular container that I keep my inks in. I got it from Joann's, and I will link it below, and it's just a 6x6 box, and I think there's actually 2 sets of them there because I think they only come with 3, and I have 4 sets on there, I believe. And it's a perfect size for any square little cubed ink squares. I use the Distress inks, but I think there's also a couple others that are in that square size, and they fit perfectly in there, and I love them. They're the same, almost the same height as the ink pads, and then you can add a bunch of them in there. So I really like that. So I'll link that below for you guys. I went ahead and adhered everything down, and I'm using this thin tape that I got from Tuesday Morning to adhere the 1/4 inch striped paper. And then these are the photos that I'm going to be using. So normally with the monthly celebrations, we do things that we are celebrating for that particular month. This little man turned 5 yesterday, and I didn't have any of his birthday photos printed, and I really wanted to celebrate him this month. So what I decided to do was I had these super cute photos of him printed, and he's just playing around with a Mario hat. And his birthday party yesterday was a mesh-up of Mario and Sonic. So I thought what I would do, instead of doing an actual birthday layout for him, I did this single layout here, and there's nothing really adventurous or memorable about these photos, except for the fact that he's just super cute in that hat and that smile. It's really hard to get a natural smile from him. He usually tends to cheese it a lot. So, and that usually means he's got really squinty eyes, and it's just not his best smile. And these photos really do showcase his best smile. So what I thought I would do instead is do a layout about him, and then I left a lot of room on the right hand side of the layout because I put a really big journaling block there, and I write about how much he means to the family because he's a part of our family and we love him so much. So even though the sketch called for a 4x6 in the horizontal, I went ahead and put a vertical photo in there and just left enough room for all of the journaling, which it turns out fabulous. I love the way that it turns out. So I find these banner pieces, and I cut them at 1.5, and that just was way too large. So I went ahead and cut them down to 1 inch, and I'd use my banner punch to punch the edges. And then this is where I'm going to start pulling out the stickers and the chipboard pieces that I have. And the bottom of the right hand side of the sketch calls for a banner piece to frame the photo. So I wanted something there, but not necessarily that banner, because the way the photo sat on the far left hand side of the right hand side of the layout. So I saw these words and I thought that that was perfect. So I have be courageous, miracle, nice, enjoy the ride, friendly, happy, awesome, and just encouraging words for him as to who he is. And I really like the way that that came out. And then at the very top of the banner pieces on the left hand side, I added a chipboard piece that say boys rule. And then I saw this here that says beyond measure, and the title itself is going to be you are loved beyond measure. And I love the way that that sits there. So the title really does focus on several different alphabets, and I'm going to add the you are a little bit later. Now I'm going to work on the top piece there above the photo, trying to find a cluster that works there. And so I wanted to use this brown tag sticker, and I just cut off the word dad and figured I could use that for another layout, and because I ended up tucking that in anyways. And then this little hat, it has a little bowler hat on top of it. It says, your tops in my book, which I thought was cute because he's wearing a hat and there's a little bowler hat in there. And then I pull out the ephemera pieces and pull out what I think might work for my layout. I don't end up using all of them, but I do add quite a few of them on. So on the left-hand side, I add that little piece that has the word notes on it, and I'm going to put the date on that. And then I added a little circle with a star to kind of finish that cluster up there. And this awesome, for some reason, it was printed off. Like it just looks like there's more teal on top of the tag instead of the bottom. So I just trimmed it out a little bit to make it a little bit better. It just it looked really off. It looked like maybe it was printed off or something. And the tag too also had the perforated pieces on it. So this, I don't know what was going on with this ephemera piece, but it definitely had some miscuts on it. And I pull out this star because I wanted something on the end of the photo, but I didn't it was just too long. So what I ended up pulling out was this ruler, because my title talks about being loved beyond measure. I thought that having a ruler on the layout would be perfect for that little edge piece there. So let me just talk about this little man just a little bit. I know I talked about his birthday was yesterday, and he's just an amazing little boy. He turned 5 yesterday, so he is so excited about starting kindergarten in the fall, and he is definitely a younger brother. He likes to follow his big brother around and be a part of his brother's life. You could definitely tell he's a younger brother. But very recently, he has started to find his voice and tell us exactly what he does and does not like. So he definitely has some spunk, and he has wit that's beyond measurable. Like there are times when he comes up with some of the funniest things that in that moment is just hilarious. At his birthday party yesterday, there was only one little kid that came from his class, which is kind of a sad thing because having a birthday in the summer, most people tend to forget about birthday parties. We sent out invitations to everyone in his class at the end of the school year, but he was in pre-K last year. But we only had one little girl, but she was super excited. Like they spent the whole time together hanging out, and they were they sat together when they were eating their pizza and their cake and stuff. So it was a cute little thing. And he was so excited when she showed up to have a classmate from school there, not just his, normal family and friends that he kind of sees all the time. So I just finished up all of my clusters with some enamel dots, and again added those triangles because that's kind of my thing right now, putting those sideways to look like an arrow. And I do not end up journaling on camera just because this was one of those things that I wanted to make sure that I really thought about before I journaled. So I do have those in the close-ups for you. I have journaled on it, but I found these 4x6 journaling cards from Tuesday morning, and I just tucked it right in there next to the photo on the right hand side of the layout because it is perfect. Now it is a stark white, and I don't mind putting white and cream together, but I wanted to give it a little bit of muted look, so I just went over it with my ink, Distress ink, and kind of give it a blue tint to it. And then I'm really enjoying adding the stamped images to my layout as well, just to give it a little bit more dimension. So what I end up doing is I found this plus sign, and it has like a really fat plus sign and then a really two thin plus signs. And I love the way that finished up that banner down there on the right hand side of the layout underneath all of those little words. So I added just a strip of those down there at the bottom, and then I also did add one to the top left-hand banner. All right, so that is pretty much it on my layout. I am going to do some splattering, and I can't find my box in all of my moving mess, so who knows where it is. So I just used some wax paper. Definitely make sure that you check out all of the ladies below. I will have their links below, and so that you can see all of their monthly celebrations for the month of July. Here are a few of my close-ups and my final layout. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope that you have a scrappy day.